today being Tuesday. So let's do the conversation today. We're going to talk about media and why they are not touching this Jeffrey Epstein thing. And it's not as like nefarious as you guys think it is. Like, I know everyone wants to throw Epstein in with everything, and there's so many people that are pushing this freaking Epstein thing. It's like they just want to they'll tie anything they can to Epstein because apparently it gets a lot of traction, but I mean, I don't know, man. And I guess this Mike Benz guy that I was telling you guys about yesterday, who was talking about this Ehud Barak guy getting in with Peter Thiel, and he was talking about this Tom Pritzker guy as well. So this guy's on Joe Rogan right now, so you guys will have to go listen to that. I'm curious what he has to say. I haven't heard anything about it. So anyway, yeah, talk for today. So we're talking about why won't media touch this thing. So truth is that the media didn't hardly spend any time talking about this thing yesterday. And if you go on social media and you ask people about this kind of stuff, they'll all say, well, we covered it all Friday. Well, the funny thing about it is that the government tends to drop things on Friday that they want people to forget about by Monday, which is exactly what happened, right? They talk about it on Friday, maybe they talk about it a little bit on Saturday, and then by the time Monday comes around, when everyone's actually back to work, then everyone's forgotten about it. And the truth is that if you guys have noticed, like the wild craziness about the media, and when they want to look at stories, they want you to focus on this one thing. These guys don't really work that much on the weekends. Like, you guys ever notice that? Like, the outrage kind of winds down on the weekends, because the truth is that outrage is pretty much fake, and so most of the outrage will come back on Monday when everyone's off vacation, which kind of funny, So anyway, that's what we're going to talk about today. I think that while we do talk about Epstein, we need to talk about Epstein. We got to keep this thing in the media cycle, because the only way we're going to get change, or only the way we're going to get not only the people to be held accountable, but the agencies that should have been investigating these people, to get them to actually investigate, right? Congress is going to have to go back in, and they are essentially going to have to create another bill that the president will have to sign, stating that the Department of Justice needs to go back in and look at all these things. Right now, the Department of Justice has zero interest in looking into Epstein. The people that made Epstein possible, they have zero interest in any of this kind of stuff, So we have to keep this topic alive. That's one of the reasons that I'm continuing to talk about it, because it's important to me that we get accountability. You guys know when every cast I talk about accountability. It's the only thing that matters, right? If it would apply to you, it needs to apply to them. And we don't see a lot of that right now. So who am I? What do I do? Why do I do these streams? Okay, my name is Eric Wilk, and I own a furniture company, a fine furniture boutique company. We are known for a high gloss lacquer coating. We do about 500 pieces a year. We have 8 or 9 employees at this point. We do a small 7 figures. Like, we're not some massive company, just a regular small business here in St. Louis, Missouri. You guys can go to our website, resplendentcrow.com, look at what it is that we sell. I'm not trying to sell you guys nothing. There's no programming. I'm not trying to tell you how to be a business owner, or how to crush it with gold, or get into real estate. Like, I don't do any of that. I just talk about regular stuff because, again, I work all the time, so this is one of the ways I get to be social in a way. So I enjoy the interaction with you guys. Hit the like button, add the discussion, and let's talk about why the media will not talk about Jeffrey Epstein, especially in any meaningful way, because it's not as crazy as you guys think it is. Okay, so I got a whole bunch of notes here. We'll go over this stuff real quick. You guys tell me if you agree. Tell me if you disagree. I got a couple of programming notes here, things that I wanted to mention before I get started on this topic. One of the things is someone yesterday told me that I wasn't being consistent when I talked about Donald Trump's dad leaving him money, and then talking about the Pritzker's family leaving them money, okay? It's very different when a family leaves their children a business and a family leaves their children money. These two things are wildly different, okay? People need to kind of understand that, and I'm not talking about this from a money standpoint. I'm talking about leaving your kids a business, right? Because that's a little bit more practical for the average person. You could probably start your own business, and you can probably leave that to your kids, or bring your kids into that business, and then they can carry it forward. That's much more easy than making a shit ton of money, putting it in a trust, and then telling the trust how to execute that money by way of your children. These are two very different things, okay? The Tom Pritzker, he took his family business, went into the business, ran the business. This is fantastic. J.B. Pritzker didn't do any of that. He went and did his own thing. He basically took his money, invested in a bunch of other companies, ran for governor, and didn't do shit, right? And he destroyed Illinois, okay? So I just wanted to point that out. I forget the gentleman that said it, but I thought it was a great point. It was like DB something. Great point, but I did want to talk about it, okay? Another programming note is that Donald Trump is trying to say that these Epstein files exonerate him, right? He actually said the Department of Justice shouldn't even be working on this right now. There's no point, okay? Here's the thing. Donald Trump is the #1 most talked about person in these files, right? This guy is mentioned more than anybody because he's around this guy forever. So when he says that they exonerate him, he is fucking lying, right? And again, I voted for Trump. I don't mind Trump as as a president and as a business person. As a human, he's just about the worst example of a human being you could possibly get, okay? So bear that kind of stuff in mind. When he says the Department of Justice shouldn't be working on this stuff, no. This is the only thing that the Department of Justice should be working on because Congress mandated it. Trump signed the bill that Congress wrote that we, the American people, voted for, right? And it passed. I think one person voted against it, which I think was Thomas Massie, right? Everyone else voted for it. But it's funny that Congress suddenly doesn't have anything to say about this, right? They're not saying, hey, motherfuckers, why are you guys not dropping all of these? What is the timeline? When can we expect these things to be dropped? They're not saying any of that. They don't want to know. They're not interested. And I find that to be kind of weird, you know? So I wanted to mention that. The last thing I'm going to mention before we get cracking is, let's see here. I talked about the congressional obligation to release the files. Yep, okay. There's 3 million more files that need to be dumped, okay? People need to not forget this, right? They dumped 3 million. There's still 3 million to go for a total of 6, okay? It's the stuff that we got was fairly salacious. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in there. The most telling thing, in my opinion, was the fact that the Department of Justice did nothing with this information. Nothing, right? They didn't say, well, when you were at the silent, who else was there? Who else did you see? What was going on? Was so-and-so there? We saw that they were here in this file. Did you ever see this person there? Who paid for all this stuff, right? Where was this money coming from? They didn't ask any questions, which is the most wildest, crazy shit I've ever heard. I don't know why they're not doing that, but for whatever reason, they're not. So just remember, there's 3 million more files coming in, and you cannot let off the pressure. You cannot stop talking about this topic because the minute we stop talking about it, they will move on to something else. And what they will move on to is what we're going to talk about today. They will talk about anything but this Epstein thing, okay? So that's what I'm going to say as far as my show notes go. Let's dig into the meat of it, which is why I want the media to talk about this, okay? So here's the thing, guys. What you guys have to understand about media today is that you have a lot of different media apparatuses, right? So you have what I grew up with, which was terrestrial television, right? You know, Channel 4, Channel 5, Channel 6, you know, bunny ears, this kind of thing. The demographic that watches that, and believe it or not, it still exists, it's digital now. The demographic that watches that is very different than the demographic that is watching this, okay? The next iteration of media was cable, right? You got cable. The people that watch cable, again, wildly different than the people that are watching this, okay? So what you see like on TikTok and you see on X and all these kind of things are nothing like the demographics that you're going to see on cable news, Fox News, CNN, MSN Now, right? Very different than what you're going to see on CBS, ABC, NBC, right? The letter media institutions, right? Okay? Very different, okay? Now, a lot of people are trying to do this whole Israel thing, you know, and I don't think that has as much to do with it as you guys think it does. And hear me out. I'll explain why. You guys tell me you disagree with me. Give me like 10 minutes to hash this thing out, right? We're going to dig into comments and we'll kind of bat this thing around. But I got a ton of stats. I got a ton of numbers for you guys, and I got a ton of information. Okay, so here's the thing. I went ahead and I printed off a few things that I wanted to talk about. So the thing you guys have to understand about, again, we're going to talk about terrestrial television, cable, and social media, right? YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all these kind of places. X, right? There's no Threads, right? There's not as much. But anyway, all the people that pay to be visible on these things, wildly different. The people that watch all these platforms, wildly different, okay? And that's the real problem here, okay? So when we look at who is watching, especially cable news, right? Fox News, CNN, all these kind of things, this is a bunch of old people, okay? Now, how old, right? So a lot of people say it's like, well, these people are 70, 80 years old. They're getting ready to die off. And there's the baby boomers and all this kind of stuff. Here's the thing. The truth is that the people that watch that stuff, they're in their mid to late 50s, okay? Now, mid to late 50s, yeah, you're talking boomers. You're talking, you know, hell, you might even be talking I don't think it's my generation, like early Gen Xers, but I think it's mostly boomers that are watching this stuff. And yeah, they're all dying off. But who's advertising to speak to those people, right? This is the thing that I think people need to understand as to why the media is not talking about this thing, okay? So when you look at who's talking to these people, it's insurance, right? It's Liberty Mutual, life insurance, right? Auto insurance, home insurance, fire insurance. It's going to be your Progressive, right? Progressive insurance, right? And the funny thing about it is these people, they spend something like $10 million a month advertising. This is why your insurance rates go up. Don't have time for you right now, guys. This is the reason that your insurance rates are not going to come down, right? The truth is that these people, they are spending shit tons of money on advertising, and you're essentially paying for it. That's literally what's going on right now. So bear that kind of stuff in mind, okay? The other things you guys have to understand is that it's all drugs, right? So these are all drug companies, okay? So these drug companies, again, They're only talking to old people. They're only talking to people that are willing to watch this thing, right? That's where they're going. So you have a big money complex around all this kind of stuff. These are the people that are paying to advertise on these places. You also have things like gold, right? Gold's a big one. You know, protect your wealth, protect your wealth. There's a lot of fear going on, right? Protect your health, protect your wealth, protect your home, get your life insurance so you can protect your kids, your grandkids, all these kind of things. This is what is happening right now. And people need to kind of understand that there's a big complex around us. Okay, now, who owns all of these media companies? I thought that this was very interesting because, again, everyone always says, well, it's the Jews. It's a Jew thing, right? And the truth is that there is a lot of people in media that are owned by these kind of people. That's a thing. You don't have to, it's not something you can deny. It has to be in the conversation. You got to be honest about it, right? So the truth is that, so we go through the big ones. Walt Disney, right? Walt Disney's Bob Iger, right? Obviously a Jewish guy. You got the Skydance, Sundance people, the Paramount people. They own everything, right? This is going to be your, I had to write this guy down here. I forgot his name. Let's see here. Skydance. Why do I always, Ellison, Larry Ellison. Larry Ellison just bought all these people, right? And so when people say, well, yeah, but he's not really Jewish. Yeah, but again, massive donor to the state of Israel, right? So that's, again, there's nothing wrong with that. The other things that you have to take away, Fox Corp, the Murdoch family, again, massive contributors to the state, okay? So these are the things, right? And the people that own all these companies that are advertising, none of these are Jewish people, none of them, right? So there's no correlation there. It's not like these guys are sharing money between each other, right? Sometimes people talk about this thing called Jewry, right? Like that doesn't seem to be a thing, right? It's basically the people that are watching Fox News, CNN, all these cable channels, they are very pro-Israel, and they are also very pro-war and pro-American dominance, right? So these people don't mind if you're going to spend a ton of money on weapons. They don't mind if you're going to send a ton of money to Israel. They are interested in these kind of things. And if you talk about Epstein, right, this Epstein argument does not help with any of this stuff. Okay, right? They don't want to hear about tying American elites to the state of Israel. They don't want to hear about that kind of stuff. It's hard to pander to your audience when you have that kind of a discussion. So I hope you guys kind of understand. Like, this is literally all that it's about. It has nothing to do with a cabal of things. It's all about money, okay? Now, the people that follow on X, YouTube, Twitter, all these kind of platforms, these are your young people, right? Your young people, overwhelmingly, like I want to say it's something like 70% of them do not want to hear about the Israel conflict. They don't care about Ukraine, Russia. They don't want to see other people, American exceptionalism projected onto the rest of the world. The young people are just very different, right? So you don't see any of that stuff on, you see all of the anti-Israel, anti-war stuff on social media. You do not see it in cable news. So I wanted to point this out to people because I hear just so much of this conspiracy stuff around Israel, and they're controlling everything, and it's the Jews and all this kind of stuff. And again, I don't want to say that there's not something there, but it's not as big as everybody makes it out to be. And I thought that I would just give you guys some facts about what is really going on here. Like, it's kind of important, you know. You hear a lot of this, like Israel Mossad, and they're controlling the government, all this kind of stuff. And again, maybe there's something there, guys, but at the end of the day, it's all about exposure to the demographic that will buy your product. That's really what it boils down. And therefore, the news is going to reflect the people that are watching the show, right? Like, you're not going to talk about old issues if you're a young person, and vice versa. You know, so I think that's what's really going on. And so that's what I'm going to say about it. Let's talk about it real quick. I've got one other thing I want to talk about at the very end of this conversation about this whole ICE thing. You know, everyone's kind of worked up about that. We've got a lot of goopy things going on in our government about this whole ICE situation, so we'll talk about the end. So let's see what we got in here today. I appreciate everyone hanging out. If you guys are in the discussion today, hit the like button, add the discussion, and let's bat it around. So, all right, so Smiles in your Smiles is facts. So yeah, man, I hope so. Good to see you again, Smile. This is Joe Baker, I guess. Joe Baker Fry, 932. So why weren't any of you concerned about Epstein's list while FJB was in office? Yeah, and again, that's a great point. You know, they weren't. And again, the reason, it's not that Republicans or Democrats are supposed to be interested in these issues. This has nothing to do with that group of people. What this has to do with is it has to deal with the fact that the Department of Justice wanted nothing to do with this issue for the last 20 years. Since the early 2000s, they wanted nothing to do with this issue. They weren't looking into any of these things. And like you're saying, like, that's, I think, the real question. Why wasn't the Department of Justice looking at this? When the FBI would get these internal reports about people that would give them tips about things, they would then look into these tips. Were all of them just bullshit? It doesn't seem like it, but again, who did they meet? Where did the money go, right? Who was there with you, right? They don't ask any of these questions. And so they're not able to piece together a complete picture about what is going on. And that's the real problem. Like, the people within our government, for whatever reason, don't want to ask the questions. And my guess is that the politicians, the senators, the Congress people, all these kind of things, they don't know about any of this stuff. They don't want to know about any of this stuff, right? Because if you start asking questions about this kind of stuff, eventually, here's the thing, guys, it's going to get back to who is donating to them, right? They don't fucking want to know any of that. They don't want to know who the donors that are giving them money are in bed with. They don't want to know, And again, the people that are giving them money, most of the time are going to be your drug companies. They're going to be your insurance companies, the people that are in the gold industry. These are the people that are giving them money. It's a very incestuous circle that controls our government, right? It's not this whole Israel thing, and there could be something there, but again, I'm not focusing on that so much. So yeah, I think you're right, dude. It's not that it doesn't. The president doesn't matter. The people that are the representatives, they don't matter. It's all about. It's all about who has the frickin' money, right? That's really what it boils down to. So, all right, let's go to the next comment. Smile's back in here again. So because it was an ongoing investigation at the time. So again, I don't necessarily believe that either, Smile. Like, this investigation has been going on since this Epstein guy was on their radar, and for whatever reason, every time you would want to bring this guy in for questioning, or you would want to ask questions, that somebody within the deep state would then come in and say, "Nah, we're not digging up this grave. We're not looking into this issue. We don't want to know. We're going to move along, right? So on to the next thing. Let's focus on whatever." Iran, let's focus on snatching leaders out of other countries. Let's focus on that. So let's focus on the deportation of criminals, anything but this thing that has to do with money. And it's all money, guys. It's all money. So, all right. Let's do this. Lift Waffen. I don't remember you, man. Lift Waffen, good to see you, dude. Glad you're here. Why would they investigate themselves? Yeah, and 100%. Again, they don't want to know. And again, it was it's the Republicans against the Democrats. It's Joe Biden versus Donald Trump versus George Bush, versus Bill Clinton, right? It's nothing to do with any of that, guys. It's it's all keeping the money train going. That's all it's about, guys. Just keep the money train. That's why when the budgets go up and the spending constantly goes up for whatever group that it is, it's not like they hit a ceiling and they're just like, well, I guess we can't have any more money. They just start printing money, right? And then it gets even worse, right? The amount of dirty hands that are involved in the deep state grow exponentially because there's even more money, So it's bad news, guys. So, but again, great comment. I agree with you. Oh, Smile says, okay, Smile had her comment retracted. Twister M, they want to put you on pain pills. Yeah, no, and Twister M, that's actually a great comment. I've talked about this many times. Especially after, I've always kind of thought this, but after COVID, I realized it's 100% true. It's that what society does to people nowadays is they, instead of putting people to work, right? I make furniture, right? Making furniture, striping roads, doing concrete work, framing houses, being a welder, electrician, all the things they talk about with the trades, the hands-on kind of work. When you started sending all that work overseas, right, or you brought in the third world to then do that work, what you're left with is knowledge workers, right? People that think. And nothing against thinkers and knowledge workers, but the problem is that when you have a society that's built around that kind of stuff, you end up with a lot of people on drugs. And not necessarily all bad drugs, but you end up with people that, why do you think they've legalized weed in so many states? They're doing it because the more people you get doing knowledge work and being on welfare, which is really what it boils down to, doing really low grade type work, weed's a great way to cope, right? Also, when you have a group of people that just go to school and don't actually make anything, they end up on SSRIs. They end up on anti-anxiety medication. I see that a lot. They end up, taking things for depression. That was a big thing. You end up with a lot of people that have what's called neuropathy. So they'll end up with pain that they can't really diagnose, and so they just put people on pain pills. And again, during COVID, all that shit just got super elevated, and that's what happens when you tell people they can work from home, or you tell people they can work in an office with fluorescent lighting, no fucking windows. I think it's bad, So I think that's a fantastic comment. I think the more we move back to kind of working outside and work with the hands and being able to see your work every single day, I think people will be less depressed and be less anxious about things, get more comfortable with danger, loud noises, smelling things, less worried about the environment, So, that's just my personal thought. I don't know what you guys think about that one. Okay, Son's in here, man. Son, good deal, dude. Glad to see you. Sorry, son, I've been doing my streams at noon. My wife doesn't want me to do my streams late at night anymore because I get home late, and she was bitching about that. So now I'm doing these things in the middle of the day, which is actually rougher because I run a business, and sometimes I get calls. I got people that want to come in, and I got to usher everyone away for at least an hour, which I think is fair. I should be able to have 1 hour to myself. So, okay, so son says, let's see, hey, did you see my last 2 posts on your live videos that were uploaded? I don't know, son. You might have to type it in here and let me know again. I'll be happy to comment them. So just put them in the feed and I'll dig through. So I'm trying to go through comments more. People tell me that I don't go through comments fast enough. I end up running my mouth a bunch. So I'm trying to go through comments as fast as I can and see if that works better for people. All right, that one guy, 82, man, good name. They're all in on it. Yeah, and again, I think they just don't want to know. I think that, there's the less you know, the better. I mean, if you're being really honest, like the politicians themselves, they're basically just running for re-election every year. They don't really care what happens in the background. And you've got all these politicians that are on committees. And the truth is that none of these I shouldn't say none of them, but most of these politicians don't know shit about nothing because most of them never done anything. These are community organizers. These are people that, went to college and got a political studies degree and then decided they're going to go into politics, political science, things like that. These aren't necessarily the best and the brightest, and unfortunately, that's what it boils down to, So I think that that's kind of what we have going on. They don't want to know, and again, they don't know anything about what it is that they're on the boards of. They have people that give them information that kind of tell them what they should think about things, and those generally are going to be people that have a vested interest in them knowing what it is that they know or thinking the way that they think. And I don't think we got enough people that have done enough real work in this world to intelligently know anything. That's my bias. You guys know I'm not a big college and education guy. I think you really need to be out in the world doing things in order to really get a robust understanding of the way things really work. So yeah, great comment, dude. All right, Blueberry, and let's go back. That one guy. So one of the things that I do on my stream that I think a lot of other people don't do is it's great to put a comment out there, guys. It's great to, say, like they're robbing us, they're bad, the Illuminati, whatever. What's your solution, right? If you're going to put a comment in there and you're going to say something like they're all in, okay, great. What are we doing about it? What's the solution? How do you fix that? Do you guys have any ideas about that? So throw some solutions in there if you can. Blueberry says Ivan and Maxwell are best friends. Oh, excuse me, Ivana and Maxwell. Well, that's kind of scary. Like I said, you guys know I'm very open about it. I voted for Trump, and I thought he'd be a fantastic president. But I mean, clearly the dude's got a lot of social issues. He's probably degenerate in many ways, and not a good dude. Plain and simple. And this is one of those deals where I tell you guys, like, push for it. Get this guy in front of Congress. Congress can subpoena just about anybody for almost anything. There's no reason the president should have to go up there and answer questions. And if all he wants to do is deny and deny and deny, that's great. Let him deny. But he has to do it in front of the public. And again, the guy's out there talking to the media all the time. He's very open, very vocal. He's an extremely good orator. Like, people always used to say, oh, Obama is such a good speaker. Like, Obama's a fucking half-wit, okay? Like, the guy was the most unintelligent, mediocre person to ever get into presidency. And I don't say that because of anything to do with his race. I say it to do with the fact that he never accomplished anything in his life, right? He was a junior senator. He was a community organizer. He was basically led into every place in his life because of his race. That's it. The guy's not intelligent, yet they propped him up because, again, he's a fantastic puppet for all these people to do whatever they want because he's fucking retarded, okay? Now, again, most people are going to say that, and I say that about all kinds of people, right? Trump's the same deal. Like, there's no reason Trump should be where he is in life, but he's actually a very good speaker, very good orator, and he has been given nothing because of who he is, right? He's had to take everything. He's probably screwed over a lot of people, and he's a very conniving business operator, and that's a double-edged sword there, right? Anyone that's been in business knows that it's not all up and up, right? There, you got to get a little sneaky, you got to get a little creative, you got to be conniving in a way. Business is tough. So I can at least understand how that guy got to where he is. The Obama guy, no fucking way. You could never convince me that guy deserved to be president or anything. And again, he's from my state. I live in Illinois. So yeah, it's yeah. Sorry. There's my biases, dude. Okay, but Blueberry, yeah, I didn't know that about Yvonne and Maxwell, so maybe I will see something about that. So who's this? This is Mini Jim, great name. Love that name, actually. Okay, thank you for the quality content. I enjoy watching your stream while talking. Taking my morning dump. Yeah, thanks, man. Whatever, man. Like, I don't care who watches this, how they watch it. This is something that I want to do, and I encourage everyone to kind of do this. If you guys have something to say, you have some thoughts on things, YouTube's a great way to do it. You can do it on, Instagram, you can do it on X, TikTok. It's a great thing to do, and putting yourself out there is actually the hardest thing for most people. It's super easy to anonymously talk crap on someone and to anonymously put a comment out there, and it's much more difficult to actually put your name out there. And especially if you're like me, you're like a business owner, like that's wildly dangerous, right? But I do it anyway. I like to do it. I want people to know there are real people in the world, talk about real things, you guys can do this. If you can get on YouTube, start a talk. People want to talk about fascinating topics. If you guys want to know how I do this, what I do is I literally talk to Grok all day long. Like, everyone's terrified of AI. I talk to Grok on my 35-minute drive into work, and I talk about all kinds of topics that are of interest to me and to other people, I would imagine. And that's how I do this thing. And then I just get in here and I talk about it. I might print off some notes. You can do the same thing. It's not very hard, but you do got to get comfortable with having to back and forth with an AI bot. So anyway, but yeah, Mini Jim, thanks for the comment. Hit the like button, add the discussion, and again, I talk about this as a small business owner. Again, never graduated high school. Figured out how to grow this thing into something that's meaningful, at least to me and the people that work here. You guys can do the same thing if that's something that you want to do. So, all right, please clip your microphone on your collar. Microphone, okay. I don't try to get it too close to my throat. We'll try that though. Let's see if that's any better, guys. Hopefully that makes you happy. So that is Dark Mule 01. Cool. Thanks for the update, or thanks for the comment. I appreciate it. I guess that probably does work better, so thanks. All right, if it doesn't matter, then why are you talking? What if what doesn't matter? We got to be more specific. So I say a lot of things. So that's TBSG5BK. Elaborate. I'll comment on it. Okay. Let's see. It's is against the 1%. So again, not sure exactly what you're saying there. Marsha Fish 6984 says, hi, Marsha Fish, good to see you. Glad you're here. Just imagine what happened in the 90s. Okay, TP. So again, you're saying stuff, and I'm trying to piece together, dude. I don't quite know where you're going with this. When it comes to the 90s, I think the 90s was probably the best generation that we've had. I mean, in my lifetime. I thought the 90s was awesome. I won't comment too much about it, but if you want me to, I will. I love the 90s. Holy shit. The 80s were good too, but not as good as the 90s. Okay, Marsha Fish says there is no accountability. Anyway, yeah, and that's the thing I'm always talking about. It's the most important thing. No matter what, there has to be accountability. And if we don't, if we're not able to hold people accountable, especially in Congress, nothing will change, which is why nothing has changed in 50 years. We've seen the same degradation of America. We've seen the same degrading quality of politician. We've seen our tax dollars get wasted and abused and paid for things that don't necessarily benefit America. And we've been propagandized into thinking that every dollar that the federal government spends has value. When the truth is I would say a third of the money that we spend has no value. It's literally a waste. It's kickbacks to people. It's money that is literally, we could cut the budget by a third tomorrow, and I don't think anyone would know anything happened, right? If you guys don't know this or not, 317,000 people have left the federal government, right? That's that's like 15% of the entire federal government. Has anyone seen anything happen? Has anything gotten worse in the federal government? Is your service has been reduced? How's the quality of your services been reduced? I don't get any services, so I don't know, but I'm just kind of curious. So yeah, all right, who's this? This is Flesu, myself. I'm not sure what that flag is. I see the American flag, and it looks like, is that the Italian flag? Green, white, and red, if I'm seeing that correctly. I don't know, have to let me know. So me, I love the Italians, man. Y'all have the best automobiles and the best freaking clothes. Okay, let's go Trump. Bro, you don't make shit. You don't, bro, you don't make shit. That's hilarious. Let's go Trump, and bro, you don't make shit. That's funny thing, is that's like all I do is make stuff. That's like literally all I do. Like, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. Like, I make 500 pieces of furniture here. I employ 8 or 9 people. Like what? That's all I do is make furniture. What do you mean I don't make shit? Like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. Like, I'm the most maker dude that I think has ever existed. That's all I do is make shit. So, all right. Let's see. Jay Gizzard of Oz. Man, that was a fucking awesome name. Great name. I love the Wizard of Oz, to be quite honest with you. All right. I lived in Kansas for quite a while. Let's see. Do work, sir. Okay. Again, guys, like, I don't know. I don't know what you guys talk about with the whole work thing. Like, again, go to my website, there's.com, to see all the furniture that we make. I ship it all over America, like literally all over America. Okay. Let's see. This Tervistu used. I'm not quite sure what that word is there, but that's cool. Okay. I know when I was a PhD physicist, Z, I noted a lot of LSD just to function. Z needed a lot of LSD to function, so I look up road stripping. Nobody accuses me of having a case of the Mondays. So I look up road stripping. Nobody accuses me. Okay, they said a lot there. I'm trying to see. I was a PhD physicist. The Z part is where I'm losing. So are you saying that you were a PhD physicist and used a lot of LSD to function, and then you looked up road striping? Nobody accuses me of having a case of the Mondays. Like, you're saying something there, and I think, I want to know if you're a PhD physicist, like, I want to hear what you have to say. I think that's fantastic. But I don't quite get what you wrote there. So keep working on it, man. Okay, Marcia, 100% agree with you. These women go out and put themselves with a lot of BS, and the assailants never get punished. Yeah, I think you're probably right there, Smile. I'm going to have to agree with you. Let's see. The wild drift of GAN 5740. It's obvious nobody is in the file. Stop writing defense. It's obvious no one, or excuse me, obvious everyone is in the file. So, yeah, and it seems like that's what it is. It seems like you got a group of people that their job is just to get more people in this group so that when one person falls, everybody falls. So therefore, nobody falls, right? Again, I talk about this as the same thing with the way our monetary systems in the world, right? Everyone is in debt to everybody else. Everyone is buying everyone's debt, so that if one country goes down, they all go down, which is why I think that no one ever goes down, right? We just keep accumulating debt. Everyone keeps printing money and issuing new debt, and we use leverage to buy everything, right? $1 becomes $9 through leverage, you know? So it's, that's kind of what's going on there. And I could be way off, but that's kind of how I see it. All right, son, here we go, dude. I cannot repost. I wrote 2 books for you to read. Sorry, unless I'm blocked because important topics get blocked and censored. Yeah, son, I think that could be part of your issue, is that you have, let's see what we got going on here. People are running up my big garage door to kind of check out what's going on there. Okay, so let's see, son saying, wrote 2 books, talking about censored why I asked. Can you peek the last 2 vids? And yeah, I'll go in. So what I'll do, son, is I'll go into my computer where I get a kind of detailed breakdown of all the comments that have come in over all my videos, and I'll see if there's ones that I haven't responded to. I tried to respond to most of them. The last one I remembered you were telling me about what range to buy, because we're redoing our kitchen right now, and I think I responded to that one. So tell me if you got the response or not. Pat Paulson, 1108. They may be dumb, yet they made law and keep them from going to prison. Yeah, and that's right. They're constantly going to be protecting themselves. It's just what they do, right? And I think one of the things that would fix a lot of this is if we just, what do you guys think about turbulence? Have you ever thought about the whole, like, this idea of people going to Congress for their entire lives? Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but our last president literally never worked a job in his life. Like, how does that work, right? And I think that guy's probably going to go down as the worst president that ever was president. And again, maybe it's because he never had a real job ever, like literally just worked in politics his entire life. Like, that's wild. I don't think that can be a good thing. I mean, what do I know? I'm just a dumb cabinet maker. I have no idea. But anyway, okay, let's see. Pat Paulson, good comment, dude. Thank you, guys. If you're in the stream, hit the like button, add the discussion, and keep kicking this thing around. We'll see you get up to about an hour, and we'll call it a day. So, all right, this is A Weird One. Dude is delusional. Okay, well, let me know where I'm wrong. Like, tell me what you guys think. That's the thing about the YouTube. I think the thing that people like about the YouTube live situation is that you get to have a back and forth, right? Generally, when you watch YouTube, you're just watching a video somebody made, and then you get to go down in the comments and comment later, and you guys think that there's somebody in there like commenting back to you. It's generally it's going to be a bot, or it's going to be what's called a virtual assistant, right? So VA, yeah, a virtual assistant. These are the people that a lot of businesses today, they all work in the Philippines, and their job is to sign into your social media accounts and auto reply to things, right? So you think that you're interacting with someone, you're not really interacting with them. And when you own a business, you have to kind of learn these things. This is how social media and websites are pretty much all ran today is by these VAs that come out of the Philippines. You know, we have one as well. It's kind of how it works. So when you're in these streams, you're talking to a real person with real issues, getting real-time feedback about the things that are kind of important to you. So, all right. Pat Paulson, 1108 says, Trump's looking out for Americans. Yeah, I think that he is, you know, but at the same time, as a business owner, right, and someone who kind of understands how things really work, at least I think that I do, he is looking out for corporations, right? And yes, he is looking out for people, but here's the thing, guys. Trump ran on a platform, right? If you guys are, and again, agree to disagree with you here. He ran on a platform of closing the border, mass deportations, and tax cuts. That was basically it. And I think ending the Russia-Ukraine war was like a big one as well, okay? So he's batting 500, right? So borders closed, tax cuts, check. The Ukraine war is still going on. Mass immigration's not happening, right? And here's the thing: like, if I said it many times. If you wanted to solve the mass immigration thing, like all you got to do is implement E-Verify. Done. Over. There's no getting around it. It's not going to happen. It's not even being brought up. Nobody's talking about it, right? The other thing you could do is just go to construction sites, meatpacking plants, and construct hotels. Very simple thing to do. But again, they're not going to do that, right? If they wanted to solve this problem, instead, what they're actually doing right now, and I put this at the last of my notes, I'll say it right now. What they're trying to do is they're trying to pass a budget right now. If you guys don't know, Congress is technically shut down right now. They're trying to pass a budget, but one of the things that they want to put in that budget is they want to 3x the ICE budget, right? Which is fucking horseshit, because they're not even spending the dollars that they have wisely now, right? If they really wanted to, if they were serious about this mass deportation thing, that's what they would have to do. But they're not going to do it, which is why Trump isn't serious about it, right? He knows that he's going to crush these industries, and that's not going to happen, right? These are the people that donate to him, that donate to Republicans, and it's just not going to happen, you know? And again, that's how I see. You guys completely disagree with me, but that's what I think is going on there. So let's keep going. All right, let's see. This is Yusuf C619Y. He is a controversial man. I'm assuming you're talking about Donald Trump there, and I would have to agree. I don't think that I'm controversial. I'm pretty kind of a simpleton, to be honest with you. Dank Swizzle 228. I really want to get a SD set up. Do I pick the MP5 SD? BNT, APC. I guess these are these guns? I'm not quite sure what you got going on there. I want to get an SD. I don't know what an SD is, so you might have to elaborate. I'm kind of I spent a lot of time at work, man. I don't know what you're talking about. Let's see. Big boy Bud 9193. You're the dude who eats chili dogs. I love chili dogs, but no, I don't eat them anymore because you can't get them anywhere. Like, where do you? We used to go to 7-Eleven when I was growing up in Corvallis, Oregon, and you go to 7-Eleven, you could get two chili dogs for $1. Like, that's how old I am. I remember that. And you go in there, get your thing, your hot dog, put it on a bun, you know, and you go and you put all the chili on there, you put a big load of cheese on there, a bunch of jalapenos. And man, I think I grew up on that shit. Like, that's all that I ate. It was freaking awesome. Now it's like $5 for two of those things, but we don't have yeah, I don't think we have 7-Elevens here in St. Louis. I think it's all Quick Trip. I like Quick Trip. Quick Trip is okay. Nick Wilden, 5655. Grok just got raided in Paris. That wouldn't surprise me, man. Those Europeans, they're in trouble over there. I mean, do you guys see what's kind of happening over there? I mean, I don't. Do we want that here? I don't think we necessarily want that here. Kind of had a version of it starting to happen. I don't know if we fixed it or not. So, okay, Eric, you say Israel isn't that big of a deal, but if we talk about certain topics in that vein, the comments get deleted outright and says a lot. Well, yeah, I think there's something there, son. I think it's not as easy a topic as people think. I think a lot of people like to talk about it because it draws in tons of traffic, right? Like, son, you know, you probably don't know this, but the very first Epstein conversation that I did when we talked a little bit about Israel, I got 20,000 views on that particular video. I got all of my hours that I need for my channel in one video, you know. So if you choose to talk about this kind of stuff and kind of feed into what everyone else is talking about, then I think it's great for your algorithm, it's great for your traffic, it's great for your thing, but it's not as relevant, I think. I want to talk about other things. Like, again, like I said, and a lot of my clients, like, I got a ton of Jewish clients. I think Jewish people are great. Like, I think people need to separate Israel and like Jewish people. And I don't think enough people talk about that. It's really important that you guys that people understand there's a big difference, you know. And like, if you guys listen to that, who's that Nick Fuentes guy, he's very anti-gay, Jew everything. And I don't again, as someone who works with these people all the time, like I just what he sees, I don't see. And again, as someone who actually is dealing with the stuff every day, I just don't see it. But I do see, our government and this other government, there's some questions that need to be answered there, and it seems like there's a connection that I don't like, but it's important to talk about the difference and the distinction, and that's one thing I'll always point up, son. So I think you would probably agree with that. Okay, Lemieux Crosby, 6687, Epstein is alive. Yeah, a lot of people think that, man. Very well could be. Yeah, very well could be. So I don't disagree with that one bit. Brandon Post, talk is cheap, yet you sheep will believe it. Yeah, well, Brandon, what's real, man? Let us know. Put it in the comments. Emanon, B9Y, hold people accountable, yet he rewards Musk, the guy who monetized CP. Well, if that guy did something, get him up in front of Congress. Let's hear it. Let's hear about it. Let's hold everyone accountable. Again, I don't know that. I think there was an email that came out where Musk wanted to go to he used like the wildest party you could possibly have, which in my mind says you want to do the nastiest, dirtiest shit ever. But it didn't happen, right? It's like you could talk about murdering people, you can talk about robbing stores, you can talk about doing all kinds of crazy shit, but if you never do it, what do you do with that information? That, to me, says, well, you can't do much about that, So, again, I don't know if Musk is good or bad. I mean, to me, like, Musk is a net benefit to society, but if he's doing bad shit like some of these other people, like, you got to go. That's how I look at it. So I don't know that. I think that I would hold him to the same standard I would hold anybody else. So that's how I see it. All right, Snoop Dogg, 5965. There was a plane crash. No. Again, I'm not sure what plane crash you're talking about. Let me know, and we'll talk about it. So Brandon Post says defunding. Defunding. Okay, defunding what? Okay, Jim, HM9CH, Emanon, where did you pull that from your ass? Some people just like to, I think they just like to get, not only interaction, but they want to see if they can get you to react to their comment. And again, like, I try and comment on most people's comments. If I see something that's like totally ridiculous, I probably won't talk about it, but that's the whole point. That's why we're on here. We're here to have these back and forths. And if you're going to take the time to write something dumb, like, it says more about you than it says about the rest of us. That's kind of how I look at it. So, who's this horse mumbler one? Yeah, great name, man. I'm not sure what that emoji is you got there. Okay, Yakov 6Z. Who needs facts or evidence when they have the power of imagination? Yeah, that's kind of true. Again, and even when they have the facts, this thing is so frustrated me. Even when you have the facts, right? You're saying, you know what, like, FBI has a report. They went and somebody gave them some information. What did they do with that information? Where's the follow-up? Where's the report saying, okay, we did this, this, and this when we were given this intelligence? Did you do anything with it? I don't think that we have all that information at this point, because it doesn't seem to me like we do. But again, I could be wrong. I'm not an expert. Nick Weldon, Wielden, 5655, Crocodex, just been raided in Paris. Yep, yeah, dude, I get it. Okay, Paul Skulls, 4352, American made. Yes, 100% American made company. Have been for damn near 10 years at this point. It's all we do is make American made furniture. So when people say that Americans can't do stuff, or it's too expensive, or it's this, they always have an excuse. I tell people, no, you can do it. It can be done. But the problem is that the owners have to actually work in the businesses. And this is a big no-no for a lot of people. I hear people say, well, I will work on the business, not in the business. And you can do a version of that, don't get me wrong. But at some point, you can't just bring things in from the third world, mark them up 10 times, and then sell them to Americans and call yourself an American business owner. I hate when people do this. Nike is the company I use, and Apple is the other company that I use. I detest how these companies operate, and if it were up to me, all of these companies would be kicked out of America. We would put 400% tariffs on all these countries, and then they could try and sell their products into this country. America is where people come to start businesses, come up with great ideas, and live out their dreams. And they don't do all that to then send all that work to the third world. I don't think that that's what America is for. America is a place where people can come and actually do what it is that they want to do, and you're free to do it. Nobody holds you back. You are bound by nothing in this country. There's an abundance of money and opportunity that is available nowhere else, anywhere on earth. And I say that as somebody who has people from, I think, 6 different countries that work for me. Most of them are now naturalized American citizens. My wife is an immigrant, is a naturalized citizen here in America. I don't believe it when people tell me that we can't do things here in America. We don't do this, we don't do that. I call horse shit. and you'll never convince me of it. So American made is the way to go. All right, Brandon Post, I've had like 20 jobs. I have more experience than most of you. Well, if you've had 20 jobs, Brandon, I'd love to know how old you are. I talk about this all the time. The way I tell people to get successful, if you want to be a dummy like me and actually figure something out before you turn 100, you need to get really good at something. Spend whatever 10 years getting really good at, in my case, making furniture. Then your side hustle while you're learning to do something is to also have a side hustle on it. So you're doing 40 hours a week making furniture. You're doing 20 hours a week as your side hustle, also making furniture, right? You're working for different customers. You're looking for new ideas. Maybe you're looking to poach customers from the people you're working for, whatever it might be. You are spending 60 hours a week doing this thing. Do that for 10 years. There's nothing you can't accomplish. You'll be the best at what you do. You'll make any kind of money you want to. You'll have lots of opportunity. You can start your own business. When you bounce from job to job to job to job to job to job to job, I think that it's very hard to get good at anything. And as someone that looks at resumes all the time, I see tons of people, they've had 6 jobs in 6 years, okay? And again, as a business owner, those aren't the people that I'm gonna hire. I'm sorry, it's just not gonna happen. And you get a lot of people that say, well, I've got a bad boss. This person doesn't like me. You know, it's not fair. I don't like the working conditions. It's a terrible place to work. I had car problems. I had house problems. I had family problems. My kids, my mom, my aunt, my cat, my dog, whatever. Yeah, I've heard it all. And the truth is that if you want to get good at something, stick with the company. Oh, the company won't keep us. So companies always keep good employees. And let me rephrase it. Companies always keep the best employees. They mostly keep the good employees. And this is the reality of business, guys. This is the reality of being a owner versus a worker. I was a worker for 25 years. Now I own the business, and I see both sides of it, and I understand both arguments. So, all right, but again, Brandon, really, I appreciate your comment, man. But yeah, you guys are at the stream, hit the like button, add the discussion. We started off talking about why the media will not talk about Epstein. It's just, and again, it's not an Israel thing or a Jew thing. It's more about the people that they're talking to, right? If you're Fox News, CNN, you're talking to people that are 55 to 65 years old. All the people that are sponsoring your newscasts are essentially drug companies and insurance, and they don't want to talk to about war issues. They don't want to talk about anything that's anti-American, because the people that are in that demographic, very pro-American projection of power, very pro-Israel, they have very specific things that they want to hear about, and that's how it works. That's why on Fox News, all the chicks are hot and blonde, right? That's what old guys want to look at. Old, hot white chicks, you know, with blonde hair and high heels, you know, that's what that demographic likes, you know. So whereas if you go to CNN, it's like old lesbian ladies. Like apparently those older people that watch that kind of content love those kind of people, you know. So I don't know what it is. So okay, Son says it's cool if you don't have Son, I got the time, dude. It's not a time issue. I guarantee it. Every morning I spend at least an hour researching things, looking at the analytics on my YouTube channel, coming up with content, listening to things that are in the news so that I can do this talk once a day. So it's not a time issue. I'll look at it. Okay, I just remember how hard they shadow ban and censor. Yes, I'm curious. Also, I like to think that my informed and well-read and well-connected. So yeah, the censorship thing's a big thing, Son. You guys know that Ellison just took control of TikTok, and the first thing that they did was essentially censor certain kinds of speech, or they even said they're going to shadow ban certain kinds of speech, you know, and that is absolutely no bueno. Like, you can't have that. That's not what TikTok was supposed to be used for. But TikTok in and of itself is kind of an interesting thing, because if you look at TikTok in China, nothing like TikTok in America. Like, the TikTok in America and a lot of social media in America is about degeneracy. Like, the videos that get the most traffic are going to be like some chick showing her ass, you know, or a bunch of guys, you know, stealing cars and doing burnouts in the city streets. It's all degeneracy. It's never like how amazing I did at the spelling bee. It's never like how I built this business. That's not the stuff that gets the traffic. It's always like how dumb my husband is and how smart my wife is. People love to be entertained by this shit. I can't figure it out, but that's the stuff that we like here for whatever reason, you know. So anyway, let's see. Paul's will see 4382, Kamala Death. Yeah, I don't know what Kamala Death is. Sober again. Again, that poor woman, like, she just got so much shit from people, like, talking about how she was drunk and she was always drinking. And, like, every time she would talk, it was just like, that's all people would say. And it's like, I don't know if I buy that. Like, everybody drinks. Like, I drink. I try to have a drink most days, you know, and I don't always have a drink every day, but I like to have at least one beer or one margarita every day if I can help it. That's my goal. So yeah, I don't know, man. Okay, Daryl Gonzalez, 6759. Yeah, 20-year max in government should be. Yeah, there's got to be some kind of a limit. Like, I don't think, like, if you look at the founding fathers, like the founding fathers, they went in government, they did their government thing, and then they went back to their lives. This idea that we got to pay these people $174,000 a year, and then they have massive expense funds so they can have homes in Washington, D.C. Like the whole idea of having Washington, D.C. as a thing, I think is super antiquated. I mean, if we're being completely honest, why do you need a representative today when you have the fucking internet? Like, this is how we communicate, right? There was no problems in COVID, right? Everyone loved talking over Zoom in COVID. Like, why do we got to pay to send all these people to Washington? Why do we got to pay to keep up all these buildings? Why do we got to pay to have all this staff, all the security? Why do we got to pay to have all that shit all over the place? Like, you don't need it. It's completely antiquated. Just like voting, like this idea that we fucking vote on, what is it, like a Tuesday every year? Nobody gets any time off. Like, I think that's super antiquated too. We can all take a day off for fucking Martin Luther King, but we can't take a day off to go vote. Like, what the fuck is that about? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, the things that like we really should be doing as a country, no interest. It's like, let's just focus on dumb shit, but whatever. It is what it is. Okay, George Pretzel. Oh, excuse me, Georgie Pretzel. Sorry about that. Make America Trumpless again. Yeah, that's fine. But what's your alternative, right? Who are you going to vote for? You guys going to vote for, you can go left, right, you're going to go, is there a person that we're not thinking about? Because like the people that I see, I don't see anybody that I want to vote for. Thomas Massey is somebody I would probably vote for. Maybe this Rand Paul guy, maybe, he seems kind of interesting. But the talk at like the Republican side is that Rand Paul guy, or not Rand Paul, J.D. Vance. Like that guy to me is like the Manchurian Candidate. Have you guys ever seen the Manchurian Candidate with Denzel Washington? I think Liev Schreiber. It's the exact same thing. Like, guy's a total puppet, and I don't think that he's basically has a story that is super palatable to the American people. And again, he's basically financed by Peter Thiel and has a perfect story. And again, I don't know why this guy is presidential material. He's done nothing that speaks to me. Again, served in the military, that's great. Served your time, got out. Then you went to Yale. I mean, Peter Thiel basically took you under his wing, and like, I don't know that guy is a good representation. I don't know that tech is a good representation for the American people, And then on the left, what do you guys got on the left? The socialist chick, the AOC chick? Like, what are you guys going to vote for socialism now? Like, is that really what we want? We just want to take from all the people that make the jobs, right? We want to take from those people and give it to the poor. Like, I'm here to tell you guys that when you give people money, they do nothing with it. Like, people make terrible decisions when they're given free money. And I've told, numerous stories about getting money during COVID. Like, all of us business owners, we got tons of money. And while we kept our people employed, we got quite a bit of money. We did a lot of dumb shit with it too. And I've seen it so many times. People that are given money by their family, most of them become degenerates. My family used to be in the wealth industry, or the wealth management industry. The truth is that a lot of people, by the the third generation, all the inheritance from people is gone, right? So when you see about like the Rockefellers, the Carnegies, all these kinds of people, that wealth doesn't last as long as you guys think it does. Giving money to people, I don't think it's a good idea. Give people something that helps them make their life better, right? They say, give a person to fish. I don't fucking remember what that saying is, but basically teach a person to fish and he'll feed himself forever. Like, that's how I think. Like, give people skills, real skills, by people that do the actual work. Stop sending people to fucking college. It's the dumbest thing we ever did. College is great for smart people. It's terrible for dumb people. And we convince society that, well, if you just go to college and you're completely dumb, you're going to get completely smart. You're going to be on par with everybody else. And it doesn't work. It's a luxury belief, guys. This is what academics like to tell everyone that, is good for everybody. And it just isn't, So I don't know if you guys agree with that. So I'm done running my mouth. Okay. Oh, Billy WNC, you're a loser. Great. Billy, let's see your cast, man. I want to hear what you have to talk about. I wish I could go to I wish I had my computer right now. I could look you up. My guess is there's not much there, but I appreciate you. I appreciate the comment. Hit the like button, have the discussion. All right. Georgie Pretzel, open borders, cried the deceitful rats. Yeah, again, I don't know how anyone ever agreed to that. I think that Alejandro Mayorkas, the guy that was over DHS, like that guy, treason charge. Like, we need a good treason charge in America to put the fear of God into politicians. Like, you can't just say the border is secure every year when you're asked about it and then argue semantics, right? Like when Trump came in, it literally closed down the border inside of like a month. Like, you're not telling me we could have done. They wanted those people here, right? And they knew that when you got them in here, that no matter what, it would be much harder to get them out. When you have to round people up and you have to put that stuff on television, all the bleeding heart people are gonna cry and bitch and moan and whine. And this is one of the reasons you need men. And there's no shade on women, but when it comes to feelings and empathy, you need a hard ass man to go in there and just get it done. Like, that's just all there is to it. Again, people completely disagree with us on that particular issue. It's just like women in the military. Like I don't think it's a good idea. Because men can easily not have empathy. You know, men have characteristics that women don't have, and that's a good thing. You know, but that's just how I see it. So, all right, illegal is illegal. Again, that's how I see it. The minute you go outside of a border of entry, you're technically a felon. Right? Go read the statute and exactly how the verbiage goes. A lot of people don't talk about that. It specifically says that you will become a felon if you go outside of a border. The way it's worded is outside of a border of entry or without the consent of a border representative, right? And that's what most of these people do. And for some reason, everyone talks about it being a civil penalty. And from my understanding, that's not the case, you know. So, okay, Paul, this, what is it about illegals? Don't you understand? Yeah, and again, it's a bleeding heart thing, man. And it's like, the argument in my case is like, these people want a better life. Like, I don't, like, everyone that wants to come here wants a job. Like, great. You know, and I've said, how many times have I said to you guys, and people hate this, but like, immigrants work harder than Americans. And everyone always gets, oh, that's bullshit. Like, it's 100% true, you know, because they've never had what we have here, right? So when these people have the opportunity to work 3 or 4 jobs, 100 hours a week, they think it's amazing. You tell that to an American, they lose their fucking minds. You know, like, I shouldn't have to work this hard. This is bullshit. Cost of living, blah, 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 a million excuses. You know, again, these people, they'll come in to 120, 140, 160 hours a week, like things that are not even human, because they've never had this kind of opportunity. And that is what America used to be. When they talk about, oh, America was founded by immigrants. Yeah, it was founded by immigrants who were looking for opportunity. Now what we're doing is they're saying the same thing, except they're bringing people in here who aren't looking for opportunity. They're looking to mooch off the system. And you can't have both. You can either have the people or get rid of the welfare. You cannot have both, right? Because it creates a massive incentive for people to come in here and take the work and the welfare. Again, super unpopular thing to say, and I'm sorry guys, but that is how I see it. So you guys can tell me if I'm wrong. All right, Paul Solis again says Clinton Stein files. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens with the old Clintons. Okay, Nick Walton 55. Yeah, wow, dude, you're so behind the chat. Okay, I know. Here, let's speed up. Sorry, guys. I am trying. I'm trying to get good at this. I'm trying to deal with having so many people in this feed. It didn't always used to be this way. It takes a long time to build up any kind of traction, and I think I finally hit the point where I got a little bit of traction. So let's keep going. This is Critical 519. JD does know how to give a speech. So yeah, 100%. Dude's a fantastic speaker. And again, I think I would like the guy. The guy's also married to an Indian. I'm married to an Indian. Like, I can relate to that. It's got beautiful kids. We got kids. Like, I can relate to all of it. I just don't like the story. The backstory is too perfect for me. Again, like, his family story is all messed up, which makes sense. He escaped the terribleness of Appalachia, wrote that book, Hillbilly Elegy, got into the Marines, then went to Yale, hooked up with Peter Thiel, did a bunch of work there, got into finance, right? Anyone that's in finance is suspect for me. You mix finance and politics, I'm not interested. You are immediately suspect. And this guy is the perfect conception of what the perfect Manchurian candidate would be, and I don't like that. So, okay, Steve R6X. The last time I got free money, I bought a pink and green hula hoop. Yeah, everyone loves hula hoops, man. Hula hoops are dope. All right, this is Bordy Fan 7433. Have you always been a bootlicking coward? Again, I don't know what bootlicking coward means. If you mean like working forever, moving all over the country, you know, only doing one thing my entire life, working for like 4 people my entire life, and then starting a company like bootlicking, like I don't know. Like I feel like I've just seen a little bit of everything, you know. So I don't think I'm bootlicking. I think I'm just telling it how I see it. People seem to like it. All right, stop sending your tax bills. Yes, I think a tax revolt is one thing that really needs to happen. I don't know if we'll ever get it. I don't know why we would get it. It was big there for a little while on social media. It was blowing up, and I don't know what happened, but something happened that, you know, it all. I think didn't we like bomb Iran or something like that, and then like all the oxygen got sucked out of the tax revolt thing and onto this other issue. Like, everyone's just like, oh, look, shining, and phew, they're gone, you know. So I don't know, guys. All right, let's see. Sinister Footage says, I'm a loser, baby, so why don't you kill me? Yep, I love that song, man. Great song. Let's see. Was that Wheatus? I don't remember exactly who sang that song. All right, Critical 509. College is terrible for the average people as well. Yeah, and again, like, college is awesome for smart people. Like, I've always said it. Like, again, a lot of my family's super educated. I got PhDs. I got doctorates. I got, you know, bachelors of science. We've got lawyers in our family. It's like, college is amazing, but it's been a catch-all, right? It's like, oh, hey, we're going to ship all your jobs to the third world. And since you don't have anything to do, why don't you guys try college for 4 years? Oh, yeah, American people pay for it, which is a great incentive. And then you're like, well, and you don't even have to work. Like, you can go to college, live in dorms, or, hell, we'll even pay for off-campus housing because your grant money or your loan money is so large. Like, so not only do you not have a job, when you go to college, you still don't have a job. If you come out more delusional about what reality is really like than I've ever seen. And it's just gotten worse and worse and worse over the years. And I grew up in a college town. Like, I saw what college used to be and what it is now, and it's insane. It isn't what it should be, you know. And then you got someone like Trump saying, well, we got to let 600,000 Chinese people come in here because if we don't, our college system's going to collapse, you know, or it's going to shrink, right? And it should shrink. Like, you shouldn't have all these colleges. Like, I got WashU here, one of the largest recipients of research grants in the entire United States of America. Like, it's nothing but Asian people. Like, nothing. Like, all the restaurants in the Loop, it's all Asian restaurants, you know, because that's who they're catering to, because that's who's here. And again, I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm just telling you that's what it is. That's what I see as someone who lives here and sees the stuff every day. Like, what am I supposed to do with that information? Like, I don't know. That's just what I see. So, okay, Richie Clark, 4870, the colleges today aren't teaching anyway. Yeah, that's what I think. And the other thing, dude, is, and great comment, Richie Clark, I appreciate it. The other thing is, like, everything is supply and demand, guys. Like, if you give out 1 million bachelor degrees a year in small business, like, that dilutes everything. You can only hire so many of those people, right? If you give out a million PhDs a year, it dilutes the PhD. You know, you give out a bunch of basket weaving degrees, it dilutes that, even though it's not really useful. But I mean, they gave this shit out, and people, if you went to a bank or went to an investor and you said, you know what, I want a loan for $100,000 a year to go get a basket weaving degree, they'd be like, get fucked. We're not gonna give you any money. Like, what are you, fucking retarded? Like, go dig ditches, you fucking idiot. But they never did. They're like, oh, federal grant money, we're got guarantee on that loan? Yeah, absolutely. The bank gives the loan out, the federal government backs it, bank gets paid off, taxpayers left with that fucking retard that has a degree that's completely useless. And then that person gets in the world and is pissed off because, like, I spent all this time, I showed up every day, I did my reports on basket weaving, you know, I was told I was gonna get a $120,000 job, like, where is my job? And then society is like, you're a fucking idiot. And they're like, you end up with someone who then gets really pissed off and they're really mad at the way things are. And they're like, well, when I was in college learning all this stuff, like, I painted my hair blue, I got all these tattoos, all these nose rings, I thought that's what people wanted. You're unemployable. And college has told you it was okay because it's okay in college. It's a safe space. You get out in the real world and it's like, ugh, I don't want that. So anyway, okay. Hey, cool, guys. We're at 62 minutes. I'm going to go through the last 5 comments, and then, guys, I get out of here. I'm trying to limit my streams to 1 hour. I appreciate everyone hanging out and add to the discussion. And like I said, we'll pick something every day. If there's a topic you like, come in, say hi, add to the comments, and work on the conversation. If not, you know, wait for the next stream. Like I said, I'll try and do this every day around noon. So, all right, last couple of comments here. So who's this? We got Michael EW5MY. I'm hungry. Okay, great. Respect your next president. Hell, respect every president, you know, but again, hold their feet to the fire, right? And this is Molly. Molly, good to see you. Sinister Footage 2, Bananas and Rice. Okay, not sure what's going on there. Georgie Prestel, just a bunch of parasites, both sides of the same street. Yeah, I agree, dude. Like, way too many parasites. Way too many people bleeding off the government. You guys know that, here's a fact for you. Do you guys know that essentially a third of the entire economy is just businesses getting stuff from the federal government, right? So they're actually taking tax dollars from the American people, redistributing it out to all kinds of people, but a lot of that money goes to businesses, all kinds of businesses, you know, and that's not good. You don't want a business relying on federal money for their product or service. It's not good. Let's see, James King, 9120, more rich high school dropouts than college educated ones, speaks for itself. More rich high school dropouts than college educated ones. Well, here's the thing. This is King James 9120. The stats now are there is more unemployment with people coming out of college than there is coming out of high school, right? And that's very telling, right? That means you know the college system has failed. And the truth is that if we want to fix this college system, the college endowments and all these colleges, they need to essentially put together a fund and fucking pay off some of these people's loans or reduce the debt burden on these things, agree to re-educate them in things that are really valuable. But this idea that the taxpayer is supposed to bail them out is complete horseshit. These people were allowed to essentially create a shit product and grow the price of everything that they were selling because the government would back them no matter what, because education is king, right? Power, what do they say? Knowledge is power, all these kind of things. And created 2 generations of half-wits that are pissed off that they can't get a job in the real world because they are, they're the educated ones. They're supposed to be a cut above everyone else, and I feel bad for them, So, all right, last couple comments. We'll read 2 more, and I'm out of here. This is Praesidius. I don't know what that is. Praesidius 191. But let's bail out billionaires again. Praesidius, I agree with you. The billionaires should not be bailed out. 100%. And when we say billionaires, what we're talking about are corporate tax cuts. You need to get rid of that shit, right? You need to put a tax on, and this could be tariffs. You need to tariff the third world, and then the businesses won't be allowed to make the kind of money they're making. They will have to pay more money in taxes. They will have to hire Americans, which will cut their margins, which will reduce the amount of money they're able to get to investors and not tax holders, shareholders, people that own stock. Will reduce this money significantly, but you're never going to see it. It's never going to happen, guys. And this is the thing. You've got to cut off the third world. And I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, all right? Last comment, we're out of here. This is the Duff's 411 Axions, knowledge applied is power. Very well said, Duff's. I think it's a fantastic comment. Thank you for putting that out there, you guys. I'm going to say it one more time. Knowledge applied is power. That's the Duff's 411 Axions. I think it's a fantastic comment. Again, you want practical knowledge. You want knowledge you can use every single day, that you can use very quickly. It shouldn't take you 4 years to learn how to do something. I completely disagree with that. And when you go to learn something, are they trying to teach you the thing that they're trying to teach you, or are they trying to teach you a whole bunch of ancillary bullshit so they can hire more people to fill the halls of their esteemed college, right? They try to hire more administrators. When you see someone putting a fucking wave pool in, okay, you know that your dollars are not being spent well. Do you see a business that has a fucking wave pool, right? No, it's not going to happen, right? When you see college kids going to Starbucks and Einstein's Bagel and Whole Foods, you know the system's broken, okay? So anyway, guys, love you. Fantastic seeing everyone. I appreciate your time. We'll do this again, and you guys have a great day.